Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, we had a live stream yesterday, pretty productive as you can see. Well, no, you won't be able to see, I'll show you in a minute. But basically what we've done is we've been working on the industrial area, actually welding things together, and we've been working on this. You may be able to see inside that there's not much there. I'll show you why. So, we had a live stream yesterday, Monday the 1st of August, and what we did is this. As you can see, we have conveyors. We've got an oxygen system over here, which will do oxygen. We basically tore apart the insides of the Surveyor and used that to help construct everything else. And all of the inventory has been moved into this single cargo container, which is still a quarter of how much it can store at maximum. This is because I use a higher than normal amount of space in my world settings. I'll probably change that later because we've got, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of these, and most of these are going to be empty for the duration of everything. We've also got advanced assemblers and an advanced refinery. These things are faster than what I've had before, which is useful. And we've also got everything hooked up. We've got a reactor. This is the powerful reactor that throws out gigawatts. Actually, I'll show you gigawatts if I can actually find an interface. Interface, and let's go reactor. I've still got the small reactor which I need to take care of, but yeah, this can go 1.2 gigawatts of power. It doesn't need to, for now. It might when all of this room is active. It won't be active. And what we've also got is we're throwing... No, sorry, not throwing. We've got a conveyor system going all the way around to the first airlock, which the Surveyor is currently parked at. This is so that I can move all the resources around, and it means that I can dock there when I want to. I have been having trouble actually docking. By docking, I mean connecting two connectors together from the station to another ship. I'll have to sort that out later, because I also put a connector up in the hangar flight deck thing. So, this episode, instead of working on the station, for once we're going to work on this. The Surveyor, which currently doesn't have any power, actually. So, I want to... it doesn't have any gyroscopes either. Okay, that's fine. We'll keep it connected to the station, just so that we can have power, because connectors throw power between them. And it also means this won't rotate by accident. The block that we can't get rid of is this, because if we do, then the connector just disappears. Not good. And we want to keep the assembler so that we can access the inventory. Yeah, inventory. Very useful. Yeah. So, since the Surveyor is kind of obsolete, i.e. we've got a ship that can scan and mine resources using a mining laser, then we want to retrofit it. And by retrofit, I mean we're going to completely change what this is. Which means I'm going to need to grind down everything I can find, which includes the thrusters. We'll need less thrusters because it will be a lighter ship. The cockpit. Basically, we're tearing this thing apart. And then building it up again from the ground up, but differently. So, yeah. That's going to be fun. I'll be back in a second once I've ground down some of the items that I need to grind down. Right, there we go. So, I've just done quite a bit of removing of things and placing back of things. Now, as you can see, this is what the wall used to look like. Now that the ship is symmetrical, we can actually get somewhere because, you know, things. One thing that we're going to need is like at least one gyroscope, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fiddle around with this section so that we don't have this assembler here and that we don't have the conveyor right here and everything else that is bothering me. So we're going to need a gyroscope. Yes. So, the point of this ship now is to basically be a bigger mining ship. So my plan is on the front we have 2 mining lasers. Yes, 2 mining lasers. Basically, these will mine, and then all the ore will be thrown into cargo containers, like 1 or 2 big cargo containers at the back. We'll also have 2 at least 2 azimuth fusion reactors to be able to deal with that. I'll put a steel plate along the bottom here when we actually need to. I just need to find a place where this is going to be safe and not going to be seen. Probably here. So if we have the fusion reactors here, which cover a 3x3 area, then we can place gyroscopes like this and like this. I don't think it matters the orientation, though it might. I don't really know if the gyroscopes, where they're placed, changes your center of rotation, because that would be an interesting thing, though thrusters don't change your center of thrust, so I doubt that's a thing. So I'm going to throw everything in there. We just need to get 1 gyroscope working, so 600 steel, 40 construction. Give me a second. So 600 steel, 40 construction components, 4 large steel tubes, 4 motors. So that's 4 large steel tubes and 4 motors, wherever that is. And then there's 50 metal grid. So 50 metal grid and 5 computers. Yes, that's it. Computers, 5. Alright. Let's weld 1. There we go. We only need 1, so that we can make sure that the ship doesn't fly off into deep space. Let's just throw that steel plate back, and then hop into here, and then we actually move the ship that might be destroyed if I slam into it. Might be a good idea there. Possibly the best idea you've had. Now, one thing that's going to happen is we do not have any power at all. We have a tiny reactor that's powering everything. In fact, I'm going to take some uranium from this reactor as well. Let's take like 5. Just in case we run out of fuel. Though we don't have that much of a fuel problem. But I don't want to use all of it. So throw that there. That's 8 uranium. We used to have like 200 on this ship, we don't anymore. So what we do is unlock, turn off, and slide. As you can see, we're overloading by 50 megawatts of power, which is useful because it means this thing isn't going to move as fast as it could be. So let's just rotate around like that, go upwards a bit. We're missing 2 engines. That's fine, we can deal with that later. So now we've got the ship out of the way. I'm going to head out this way after securing some of these components, and these components, and these components. Okay, right. So, what we want to do is we want, give me a second to get the right thing up, we want a conveyor here, yeah, and then we want a connector here. Okay, this connector will weld, and so will the conveyor. And we'll do it on the other side. This will be symmetrical build, and then what we want is we want a airlock here, and then we want a merge block here. Same as here, so that the merge block will merge the stations, or well. It won't be a merge block, I'll use a connector. So basically I connect it, but the merge block we can walk through, and therefore walk through. These merge blocks, no matter if it's merged or not, will not contain oxygen. Or, no, will not lose oxygen from inside, which is useful. So basically all you need to do is open the door, close the door, done. Easy. I'll go to the other side and do that as well. So if we go here, flip that around, making sure that it's the right way around. It is. Good. And then we need a merge block here. That's actually a very, very thin wireframe. Interesting. Okay, so after we do that, then I'll be able to access the ship anyway, so that's fine. We're going to need to redo the front of the ship because we're going to have 2 mining lasers on the front. So yeah, I'll get to welding those bits together and getting rid of the cockpit, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've done some grinding, maybe a bit too vigorously since the roof decided to separate and flee. Luckily I've got the current mining ship just keeping it there. It was floating off into deep space. It was a bit unnerving, but we've actually got an open top which helps quite a bit. So what I've done is welded the docking things together, and I've also added this kind of bulk of hull. My plan being that we can add a thruster onto here and a thruster onto here, so they could be like extra things to put extra things on, and it will also give us some wiring space if we need it. Now, do I have the mining laser on my hotbar yet? No. Right. I'm going to run out of things to do. Right. So drill. We want the beam drill. That requires a steel plate to place. We have that, I think. No, we don't. Let me do something. Let's pick one up. Didn't mean to hit that, I meant this. Give me some steel plate, please. So, we want to place one here, and one there. And these will be the drills. They'll basically drill everything. And then what we can do is we can place a conveyor here, if I had any interior plate on me, which there is in here, since I ground everything into dust. There should be some interior plate. Anywhere? No, okay. Or there was, and I didn't realise. Could have been the latter. Right, let me access this, throw away about 500 of this, and then let's grab as much interior plate as possible. Yeah, so these beam drills, I'm going to steal one from the mining laser, from the mining ship, and stick one on, and then I'll build the other as well. Right, okay. And then place this here. Weld it a bit. I'm going to need some more steel. Actually, no, if we jump in you, there was interior plate on it. I kind of guessed. If we jump onto you and then just use the use the lasers, that will attempt to weld it. Okay, and then if you have any more steel plate left, that's useful, and that as well. So what we want to do is we want to get the hull back. So Control 1, scroll around to armor blocks, and weld those together. So, my idea might be to actually increase the height, because the cockpit that I'm going to use, and I'll have to find it. Let's just cockpit. These, no, they're small ship only. Oh, could have made better ones. Well, I'll try and find different ones. Seat. Right. I'll try and find a suitable cockpit thing, either on the workshop or something else, which I will do now, and then we'll be back in a second once I find a suitable cockpit to put on this ship. Okay, right. I have an idea. It may not be the best idea, but it is an idea nonetheless. So, what we're going to do is first plan out where we're going to put everything that's going to be inside the ship. So large cargo containers, everything. I want to change block size, change to this. So we'll have to place these down. I need interior plate. I had it in my inventory, but now I moved it onto here. Silly me. Right. So I want you here. Barely place you down without being in the bounding box itself. And then I want to place you here. Yep. Okay. And then what I'll do is grind this down. And then if we get some conveyor pipes per conveyor here so that it remains airtight, and then have a conveyor pipe and then another conveyor here. Basically, conveyors. Yeah, we'll use conveyors because then it's actually working. And then we throw conveyor pipes like that. And then fill that in with steel, and that should be the front of the ship. So this will contain the cargo, and then just placing down the rest of the steel for that front section. Going to weld the steel bits together. We'll weld the rest of it together later. Give me a second. Kind of thinking as I go right now. Right. Now, the next bit is we need the reactors, and the reactors are going to be at the back. So we're going to need reactor, which we've got here. Going to need to place a reactor here, flip that around to there. So reactor there, and reactor there. Now, these reactors, they're going to need some pipes, and these pipes are going to lead to a central reserve of things. Those things being a cargo container that contains uranium, which we can put uranium into when we need to, and then the reactors will pull from it. So we just need cargo container. We'll have a small one. I think a small one is the only one that we need. Put that there. So we're going to put the small one over here, possibly. Depends where the floor is. So if we pretend the floor is on this level, yeah, floor is on this level, so we don't need these. We can actually just have conveyors. Basically, that's conveyor central. Let me add these in then. No, we're not going to add those in because we need to weld the rest of it. So get rid of this. Pretend there are conveyors here. Conveyor blocks, okay? I'll remind myself of that later. So we have two reactors. Actually, maybe better if we change the way that they're orientated. So that they're like this. Though it won't do that. So it's like this and this. So this will allow easy moving towards the central block, which will be this one. I don't think we need it anymore. Well, this we won't need it temporarily. I'll get rid of the excess stuff that I have in my inventory. Give me a second. Throw you, throw you. Let me pick up the reactor and place it down again in a different location. Let me just throw it on the side where it's not going to get in the way. We had it on here. Okay. So then we have conveyors here that go to the back. I need steel plate, obviously. I'm very bad at this. Steel plate, you are there. I choose you. All that malarkey. And then we want one of you here. Then we want one of you there. And then flip you around. Okay. Then you guys will go into a central area here, which we will have the cargo container. Interior plate. Obviously interior plate. It's always going to be interior plate. You there. Good. Okay. That's good. So you only take 2 blocks of space. That's also useful. So if we get this and place these, I'll get into the back bits in a second. No, wrong button, you fool. Place these over here. Good. Okay, and then if we go along like this, and along like this, then this should be the boundary at which the reactor is. Okay, I have an idea. Another idea, by the way. So if we keep the reactor completely separate from the rest of the ship, that might be a good idea. It might be a bad idea. I do not know. Let me add some flooring here. We still need to add like more gyroscopes, but that will be later. Okay. Need more steel plate, obviously. Let me go get some. Yoink. Ha ha ha, I have the steel plate now. Okay. So, my plan for the cockpit is that we have the cockpit situated here. So we kind of block off this area. Would that be a good idea? Maybe. Possibly. I'm not sure. Just give me a second. This is kind of planning as I go, because that's the best way to do things. One thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we get pipes into there. So if I... No, that wasn't necessary. We could do this. So flip you around there, and then flip you round. Come on, work with me. Work with me, for God's sake. There. And then there. And along like that. So that should be the way that we do the... well, the way that we do that. We can replace these again. Let's do the same on the other side. To which I have, for some reason, not included that. I need interior plate. I may have just taken all the interior plate like a fool. Yes, I did. Yeah. Interior plate. There we go. Okay, I'll weld that in a second. We've got this underground bit here, which will contain gyroscopes and possibly some other things, which might include a conveyor that goes all the way underneath, that just goes this way into these groups of cargo containers. Maybe not. I might want it on a completely separate system, so that you have to be inside the ship in order to do that. Yeah, because otherwise people could take it out whilst they're outside, which is not a good idea. Okay, so for now I will cover the entire thing. Okay, I'll weld it all together. Need more steel, obviously. It is a fact of life. Steel plate is something that you'll always need. Okay, so this will be the floor, and then we'll have another block, so 2 blocks space, so this 2 blocks space, and then we'll have the ceiling go on top. I'll repair the ceiling between episodes, and then that'll be good. Just need to place down a cockpit, probably a camera as well, an antenna, ore detector, all these other things I will add, and I will show you in the next episode, because yeah, running out of time. Until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.